So my name is Indrek Turmen. I'm solutions engineer in Trend Micro. I have been here now more than 7 years. And today topic is Trend Micro Vision 1, which is our cybersecurity platform. Today's webinar point is more introduction, and we can speak more in details about features and functionalities on the roadshow in March. Cool, but let's start. When we talk about, so let's set the scene, yeah. AI is everywhere. Of course, everybody are using AI, and that's clear. But and also fact is that AI is reshaping also the threat landscape, and actually it is reshaping the whole industry. As organizations and users are using AI as a productivity tool to be faster and with the daily job, actually attackers are using it the same way. The coding skills maybe don't need to be at the same level as they needed to be before. Phishing is getting better and better. Translation is perfect. Yeah, nowadays our languages here in Baltic region are not protecting us as well as they used to be because of the AI tools available. And thing is that it's easier now also for the attackers to craft spear phishing emails, like targeted emails, because it's easier to gather information from the internet about the users. And since it can be all automated, it means that it scales up, yeah. And most likely this year we start to see more and more incidents because it's easier to scale up the attacks for the attackers. And they are using AI even for the landing pages. So yeah, it's clear. And on the other hand, what we see in organizations is that it's quite complex. Yeah, organization environment is complex. So there are quite many tools in use, and because of many tools, you have a lot of alerts. You have alert overload. Many teams. In many cases, there are different teams working with different products. And because of that, of course, the response is delayed and you exposure to to the risks. Yeah. And attackers, they love these kind of environments, complicated environments, because well, the more complicated the environment is, more entry points, potential entry points this organization might have. And of course, they are looking for those entry points, and AI helps also to identify those entry points a bit better and faster, because one of the vectors is vulnerabilities that might be in your exposed services to the internet, and they of course are exploiting those vulnerabilities. And since attackers are lazy, they are not really changing at the moment anything. They're still using the same tools, same tools, same scripts, because time is money, and so it's easier to get in with a like almost open doors. And so that's why we don't see that many AI super pooper created zero-day exploits that are going stealthy and undetected. But the fact is that it is going to be more used, and especially in the vulnerability exploitation, we already see some exploits written by AI, and of course, at least some models part of the exploits. So yes, so they break in and they move laterally, again abusing vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. And when we talk about entry points, then misconfiguration, especially in the cloud services, is also one of the big vectors how they are breaking into your environment. And they are after your ground jewels, your critical assets, and they try to steal your data and encrypt it and extort you and so on. So what as a trend or the Trend Micro as a vendor is doing, then we have a platform, Vision 1. We're offering different cybersecurity services there. So in the middle section here, you will see our protection layers, like we can have a security for the endpoints and for the containers and cloud environment. We can protect your Kubernetes, your containers. We can monitor container activity from there. We have network security where we have dedicated IPS appliances. Plus, we also have network sensors in the mirror port, gathering the telemetry from the network. And good thing about the telemetry from the network is that if we compare it to the endpoint, then once the bad guys are in your endpoints, they can disable the agent, they can stop logging, stop sending telemetry to our data lake. But on network level, once we have the telemetry, this is our data. They cannot tamper it. They cannot take it away. And for sure, they are visible in the network because first of all, they want to get in, and once and somehow they get in over the network. So there is a trace about that. Then they want to discover what's around. They move laterally. They establish command control connections. So all that can be detected at network level. Email as important as other layers because, like we spoke already, so it's one of the biggest initial vectors, initial access vectors. So they are sending those phishing and business email compromise emails. Important to collect telemetry like headers, hashes, URLs, so that if there is an incident, so you have proof who sent, who received, who else has the email in inbox, so that you need to quarantine it. Identity, of course, important. They are after your identities, your usernames, passwords, API tokens, certificates, whatnot. Because once they have the identity, they don't need to hack anymore. They can just log into your environment. Yeah? AI security getting more important, especially nowadays when your company users are using public AI services to be more productive. They might upload some sensitive information, like, for example, source code. They want to optimize the code. They upload the code, ask AI tool to optimize it, but actually this is already data leak. And also, when we talk about malicious responses, that is also important to check the response. What's coming back from those public services doesn't contain any malicious URLs and etc. Also, when we talk about AI, then one interesting initial vector recently is that when you're using these AI-enabled browsers, then when you browse to the website, in many cases, what we have seen, this website actually contains malicious prompt. So your AI agent is reading the web page, getting the prompt, and then it's told to do something that it's not supposed to do. And if it's not guardrailed correctly and defenses and rules are not there as they should be, this AI agent can actually maybe send some data out what is asked by this web page. Yeah. Data security, really important part because well, data is the gold. If the data is compromised, then your AI model that you're training with that data most likely will not do what it's supposed to do. Of course, they are after your data. They try to exfiltrate it, and then they try to delete, encrypt it, and they try to extort you. Okay, so these are the protection layers. Once we gather that telemetry to our data lake plus from the third party, we're offering there like two biggest security models in Vision 1 is a cyber risk exposure management, where we give you the visualization of the cyber risk of your organization. And security operation is all about detecting incidents and responding to those incidents. I'm going to talk about those two models in more details. Everything is cool, yeah. Scanners are there, but those scanners and this technology is only as good as your threat intel. And Trend Micro has, I would say, one of the best threat intel, threat research in the market. So everything is fueled by our threat intel. It means that all the new suspicious objects, techniques, tactics, what the attackers are doing, and behaviors, this is used with your telemetry data to detect those incidents. And we also have services available. You can get the managed detection response, so SOC as a service from Trend Micro, where we support also third-party logs, not only our products. You can get the red teaming, purple teaming engagement from Trend Micro, and also we have incident response team in Europe available if you happen to have a really serious incident where you need help. So I want to address here that this is not vendor lock. This platform and it's not only for the Trend micro products. We support a lot of third-party vendor logs when you talk about incident detection and cyber risk exposure management. So we can get the third-party logs more than for 900 vendors today. And the other hand, we have a lot of integrations with the third-party vendors. So for example, if we detect some suspicious objects in our environment, we can actually share those to the firewall vendors to be blocked in the perimeter. We also support third-party vulnerability management tools like Qualys, Tenable. You can import those reports to our platform so that you have single console where you see all the risks associated with their assets. Of course, we have vulnerability management as well, and we can detect vulnerabilities from the endpoints where we have agent. And we also have active vulnerability scanners, which you can use to scan all network for vulnerabilities and detect vulnerabilities on endpoints where we don't have the agent. But nevertheless, we have integrations available with other vendors and of course CM vendors as well. So when we talk about cyber risk exposure management, then how does it work? Yeah. So first of all, we will discover your assets like your user devices, servers, internet-facing assets, all the vulnerabilities, misconfigurations associated with those assets, and suspicious activities. Then we connect to your identity provider to get the visibility of your identities, your admin accounts, your service accounts, to high privilege service accounts. Again, misconfigurations like MFA not enabled, maybe passwords are not rotating. We see some unusual login activity, like users logging in all over the world at the same time. We are monitoring dark web for the account compromise. So if we see your data being sold in the dark web, of course, we alert about it. Then we connect to your cloud services, cloud tenants like AWS, Azure, Google Platform. We can list all the cloud services that you're using. And if you think about nowadays, cloud services that your teams are using, are you sure that all those hundreds of services that are available there that they're using, are you sure that everything is configured properly? What we can do is that we can detect the services and we can highlight all the misconfigurations associated with those services that you're using in the cloud so that you can fix your hygiene and it's harder to attack you. And then applications, everything what's installed on your endpoints and also cloud applications. We can highlight the risky applications, vulnerable applications, and also a suspicious usage of the applications. So all that information that we have gathered, we assess, and then we give you recommendations how you can fix those risk indicators. We have also compliance management available that you can check if you are compliant with the specific regulations that you need to be compliant. For example, NIS2, we can highlight all the checks and recommendations that you need to do to be compliant with an NIS2 or PCI DSS or HIPAA or ISO if you happen to need to be. And yeah, highlighting exposures and threat activities and all that. So once we have that information, we score each and every asset. We give the risk score to the asset from 0 to 100. And all that combined together will give the overall risk score of your organization. And then you can see how it is changing in time. Is it going up and down? Why it's going up? And you can compare your organization to the other organizations as well if you need. So, and all that, of course, is powered by different AI technologies behind. And what we are doing here, we are predicting attack paths. Yeah. So if we think about risk is like likelihood and impact together. Likelihood, like kind of what kind of vulnerabilities you have, how you're exposed to the internet, what threats. So how likely it is to attack you. And from the other hand, the impact, like as the criticality, that how important is that asset that has that vulnerability or connection, and then we can start to predict attack paths. Yes, so because we have all those associations between the endpoints and risk indicators with the assets, so we can start to predict that okay, if they exploit that vulnerability, which is internet facing and then start to move from that asset to the other asset and so on, they might get to your crown jewels and compromise those. So how it looks in the platform is like that. So here we have different attack paths prioritized, most critical one here. And we will prioritize those attack paths and give you basically recommendations from where to start. And then AI will give you recommendations, actions, what you need to do to start to break those chains. Yeah, what are the remediation steps? So we highlight the choke point, and if you fix that specific issue here, you might actually break the chain for multiple attack paths. Yeah. But that's only one example how we're using AI here in the cyber risk exposure management model. But since of the lack of time, I'm not going to deep dive to this further. Let's speak about also security operations, as important as cyber risk exposure management, of course. So once you have the incident, you want to detect and respond to it as fast as possible. But the reality is, yeah, that what we see at least that many SOC teams are using many tools. Those different tools like CM, SOAR, XDRs, they can be from the same vendor, but they can be also from the different vendors. And because of that, your data is siloed and your data is duplicated in the data lakes. So the data lake costs are going high, overlapping solutions, a lot of alerts, and it's time consuming to correlate. And also it's not anymore effective to respond to those incidents because you are wasting time while doing this teaching manually correlating things. So coming back to this slide, I want to address that we do support how we solve it. Yeah, we support more than 900 vendors today to feed in telemetry to our data lake. And why we are doing this now, started to do it actually like almost 2 years ago, is that because of the AI, the technology is available to speed up building parsers. Yeah, we don't need to do those manually anymore, so we can use AI to clean the data, to get rid of the duplicates. We can use the AI to transform the third-party logs to our schema. And yeah, and after we have it like our log in our data lake, we can use that for the threat investigation and other good things. So new vendors, new products, we are onboarding every day. And if you happen to have a new log source that we don't know, you can start to send logs, and we start to train our parser immediately. So it really, technology now really enables us to bring more logs to our data lake. On the other hand, we are using AI also in threat investigation. So this is the incident view. Our companion in the platform will highlight immediately most critical incident and maybe to tell you that, okay, these two other incidents are false positive, actually, no need to check those. When you open an incident, there is a summary already created by the AI that what happened, which are the endpoints associated with it, maybe accounts as well. So all the assets that are associated with the incident, you have a timeline, you have the objects associated with the incident, and you can from here open the ticket. Of course, ticket will be populated with initial information, what happened and etc. And you can start, and AI will start to recommend you next actions, what you should do, what kind of where you should look for the more information, what kind of search filters you should use, what kind of information about the specific endpoint from what time period exactly. AI will recommend you also response actions like isolate the endpoint, terminate the process, quarantine the emails, and etc. And you also will get the reporting automatically generated for you. Yeah, you can summarize the incident, and you have executive summary here in front of you as a preview, and you can monitor, you can change it, you can use it, and you can basically create your report. And while still investing incidents and adding new telemetry, new alerts to the incident, you can always generate a new report, and you will have the even versioning there available. Ticketing also includes the SLAs, so you can monitor how well and how quickly incidents are handled. Yeah, what is the time to acknowledge, time to investigate, and mean time to respond to the incident. Since I've not too much time left, so that's my last slide. What I want to address here is that as you saw that we combine cyber risk exposure management and security operations, XDR, CM, SOAR in a single data lake, and that really gives you the less noise and faster response times. So CREM will minimize attack surface. Yeah, you will close the high risk exposure. It means that you have less noise and less low value XDR alerts, and and you really can focus to the high and meaningful alerts with SecOps model. So basically, it means that a faster response, more accurate response, and less noise. If you want to know more about these models and what functionality we have available for you, I'm more than happy to speak about it on a roadshow in March, which will be Tallinn, Vilnius, Riga. So thank you.
That was quick, Indrek. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
I was
very
told
much.
it's 20 minutes only, so.
Good. Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, cool. Camera's working. Few questions then. If we compare Trend Micro to other endpoint platforms, what would you say is your strongest differentiator? And we have quite a few minutes left, so yeah,
Okay.
please expand if you can.
Yeah, of course. So in your question, that was a good point that other endpoint vendor products platforms. Well, one differentiator is that we are not only the endpoint. Like when we talk about XDR, of course, endpoint detection response is really important, and telemetry that you can get from the endpoints for incident investigation is a gold. But the incidents, they don't stay on the endpoints. So what might differentiate us that we have natively quite many layers that we can cover to collect telemetry. For example, we have email telemetry in our data lake from our products. So we can collect telemetry from your Office 365, Exchange Online, Google Mail, and on-premise email servers, adding more value or more information for incident investigation. Plus, we have network sensor, we native, so you can put them to the mirror port, collect telemetry from a network layer, and then we can collect telemetry from the containers because we have container security. So all those layers, quite many vendors don't have, and they are relying on third-party integrations. And when you think about third-party integrations, they are never as good as the native integrations, and that's why we can also have response actions all over those layers. So I think that that's one of the biggest differentiator what we have.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, you mentioned telemetry, so kind of it's a good segue to another question that we have. Can you share a real example where Trend Micro helped detect or stop an attack earlier than traditional tools, and what telemetry or capabilities made the difference in that case?
Um, so you want like war stories, yeah?
If
Well,
possible.
yeah. So, well, if you think about this cyber risk exposure management, where we are predicting the like trying to predict the future, highlighting the high risk like exposure, what we see, what could lead to the data compromise in your environment. And of course, when you recommend to patch that vulnerability and the vulnerability is patched and we break the chain, then we don't see that incident anymore. So these war stories actually you cannot measure them as well, but of course we still see that these vulnerabilities have been what they are trying to exploit those, but since they are not there, of course that attack path has been broken. But of course, we have many customers using our products, and some of them are really happy about monitoring a dark web, that there was a data leak. Some of them are really happy that they saw that user logged in all over the world at the same time. Meant that this account was actually compromised because MFA was not enabled. even though we addressed that already days before that this MFA is disabled, you should do something about it. So there are different stories, but yeah, I don't have any. Well, I cannot say any customers incidents here, to be honest, at the moment.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, Indra, few more minutes left. Do you have anything to add or?
Well, not really that I can think of. I went really fast over this platform. Mentioned that we can do this incident detection response and highlight the cyber risk that your organization has. But of course, we have other models there like zero trust secure access. We can secure your users accessing the internet applications and also private applications. And then there is a mobile security available for you to use. And yeah, and data security, DLP security mentioned really shortly, but really interesting thing is that you can classify your data, critical data. You can tell us what kind of data we should start to monitor, what's public shares or private shares, on-premise folders, and then we start to monitor how the data is moving, who is copying, who is renaming. So in case of the incident, you can actually really do the data detection response also in the same platform.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Indra, very much. I'm glad to have you here.